Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. Happy October, happy faith in action, happy everything. We're going to sing about how we're all welcome here. Let's do it. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. And I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. All souls are welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. And I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Your soul, our souls, everybody welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'll get the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Come on, let me see your hands up. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome
Yes, the message is loud and clear. Our souls are welcome here. Good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Reverend James, and you're right, the message is clear. And we greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving energy of this community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center welcomes all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and of course, the beautiful temples of nature, because we know there's no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time this morning, whether you're watching us online or here in person, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. Every one of us is here by divine appointment. And we're so excited to get together today, especially after our wonderful gala. And we're also extremely excited when you silence your electronic devices and please refrain from flash photography during the service.
Let us take this moment that we have paused just to connect with the presence, recognizing that we are always living and moving and having our beingness in this divine love that is for us and with us always. It is our very life and being. And we can turn to that presence, we can lean on that presence, resting assured that it is always with us. As we make this presence and all of its qualities the activity of our awareness, by capturing it in our own awareness, not only are we lifted up, but all those around us feel and sense that same power, and they are lifted up as well. So we're here to remind one another of the truth of who and what we are. The truth of the matter is that we are unique, unrepeatable expressions of the divine, each here to make a positive contribution in some way, shape, or form to the world in which we live. recognizing that we're not here just to fit into society. We're here to stretch the society, do the deliverance of our good, whatever that may be. So we're grateful to be those vessels and channels today and each and every day of our lives, so that we can lift ourselves up to such a degree that we can say that when you see us, you see the presence from which we have come. For this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth doing our part to anchor a little bit more good in our life and in our world. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, we have a very important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center as reflected in our mission statement. And I invite you to join in as we affirm it together. To transform lives, to make a positive difference in the world as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out that mission and purpose through the embodiment of these 5 universal principles to the best of our ability. Again, let's affirm them together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action. And of course, this being the new month, if you're born in the month of October, we invite you to please stand so we can give you that special birthday song
That's
today.
Right. October babies! Where's your crown? Where's your tiara? Let's sing about it. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
And just aside before I get to the Wow Wednesday announcement, usually Shirley Brown does our flowers on the first Sunday of the month, but she did the flowers for the gala. And so these are not hers, but the ones we saw at the gala are. Thank you, Shirley. So Wow Wednesday, Reverend James is starting a 4-week class. It is called Sacred Symbolism, Unveiling the Metaphysical and Mystical Layers of the Bible. Phew. It's a 4-week course. You don't have to sign up ahead of time, and it's going to be on a love offering basis. It's going to be, what, a reflection of the evolution of
Human consciousness. We want to talk about what it really means and Unity's unique perspective on Bible interpretation, which is unique from the traditional way.
And what else is going to happen?
Okay, how we originated, why there's so many different versions of the Bible. We got a bunch of them. How it shifted from interpreting it symbolically to literally, and the forces that were behind that change, and ways we can apply those stories to our life for better living. So I think we're going to have a community meal at regular time at 6. And if you want, you can bring a Bible. It doesn't really matter which one version it is, because we're going to dissect really how we can apply it in our life.
Cool. And the community meal, we go to soup this month, starting in October. And if you're interested in helping with that community meal, please come see me, because we're kind of in a transition. And I know some people want to keep doing it, but we need new people. So if you want to help with the community meal serving soup, come talk to me.
All righty. Well, as was mentioned, we had a magnificent experience with our gala on Friday night. It was one of a kind. And of course, you can still watch it online, I believe, right? It's been recorded. It's very worth checking out to reminisce. But I just wanted to thank so many people who made this happen, because oftentimes folks show up and things just seem to magically appear. But there's a lot of folks behind the scenes that really make it happen. So I just want to acknowledge first of all, our sponsors, our volunteers, our staff, and all the attendees. Anyone that did anything at all, just stand if you're here this morning. We just want to acknowledge you, appreciate you, thank you. And a special thanks to Leslie and Rick, who helped set up a lot of stuff and set things back up yesterday to get us ready for today. And then, of course, Paula, who was behind the scenes because she's still recovering from her mishap, but she did so much to help make it work and show up in the way that it did. So, Paula, if you're listening, we thank you for all of you've done and continue to do for Spiritual Life Center. Okay, and the Fund the Mission continues. I believe you can go online in order to do that. Is that correct? And we would also call in the chapel. Okay, yeah, the Fund the Mission is still available. And of course, there's a call for auction items for our upcoming auction. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. I think we're all up to date on the gala and related activities.
And so if you think you missed the blessing of the animals, you kind of didn't, because we kind of advertised the wrong date for last week. It is this Saturday at 7 o'clock. It is a Zoom-only thing, as Reverend Donna says, that animals don't like to travel. And so it will be at 1 o'clock on Zoom. So you go to the website, get the Zoom link, and join Reverend Donna. She does an amazing, very sweet little ceremony.
She's just multi-talented. She was our MC for Friday night. She's blessing animals and, doing all kinds. Who all knows what else? She's like a superwoman in the world.
And we really appreciate her.
Yes, we do. And also, just to let you know, next week we're going to have our periodically, we have community meetings just to give an update of where we are financially, the future of Spiritual Life Center, answer questions that you may have. This is presented by our Board of Trustees, so we invite you to be there, and that's going to start at 1 o'clock after the service, and we'll end about 2:30 or before that time. So if you want to know what's happening, just come by or have some questions. We'll be more than happy to answer those questions at our community meeting. And one of the things that we do in Spiritual Life Center is support like-minded and mission-compatible organizations in our community that are making a positive contribution to our community in their own unique ways. And so our community giving group is always vetting organizations that we can support. And we have a new group today that we're going to support. And Brittany Jorgensen is going to introduce the person that's a representative of that organization. So welcome, Brittany.
Good morning. So have you ever been sitting at home watching a hurricane or a fire and wondering, how do I get involved? How do I help? What can I do? Well, I have an answer. So I have been volunteering with the SAC Fire's Community Emergency Response Team for the last 2 years. I am now a FEMA certified disaster service volunteer, and it's free. And we're giving money to them this month that will help in really great ways. It's a 100% volunteer-led organization with a lot of veterans who do amazing things. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Lynn, my dear friend. We're all friends, and she's going to explain more about how you can get involved to help your family and to help the community. So.
Thank you so much. I know that all of us, when we see those disasters, we want to do something. And we think, well, we'll just go out there and find a spot and volunteer. And that's what I thought for years until I discovered that those people are referred to as the second disaster. You can imagine, for example, in this very litigious state, that we want people to be vetted and trained. The very origins of CERT followed the serious earthquake in Mexico City, and volunteers showed up and they saved 800 people, which is amazing. But 100 volunteers died doing it because they had not been trained. So getting trained is about protecting yourself, it's about protecting other people, and it's about protecting the organizations because, for example, you would not want me to put a sex offender in charge of the children's shelter. For example, you want those people to have a background check, you want them to be trained, you want to know who they are. And CERT is part of the FEMA continuum. We're at the community level, and we are sponsored by Sacramento Fire Department, and there are more than 2,700 CERTs around the country. More than 600,000 people have been trained I know, and you never heard of it till this morning, right? But that's how it is. And so if you were to join us, for example, you could be trained in disaster preparedness, disaster fire suppression, medical operations, light search and rescue, how the organization works, disaster psychology, terrorism. Our particular cert is a little more active than some. And so we offer training in animal rescue and sheltering. And we've created quite a name for ourselves in that we actually travel to other states to train their certs how to do this. We teach crowd and traffic control. So when all those people were lined up for COVID testing and shots, the people handling the logistics for that was our cert. We teach map reading, navigation, shoring up buildings so that when people are searching for victims, the building doesn't fall in on them. And we have a agreement with San Francisco, which is more likely to see that type of earthquake, that we would travel there to assist them in that. And some of us are specially trained to help deploy incident management teams, which are basically small cities on flatbed trucks. And you have an hour and a half to get out the door if you are part of that self-contained city that's going to respond. And that means the people who are at work or on the job have to get home, get their stuff, get the dog boarded, tell their sweetheart goodbye for 2 weeks, and be back. And you can imagine that's hard to do in an hour and a half. So people like me who are trained actually go straight there and start loading their equipment so that all they have to do is check it off when they go and they can be on the way to help with search and rescue like they did at 9/11, for example. Another thing is that many of us are trained to be emergency medical responders that are licensed by the county. Very few certs offer that, but we do. And EMRs are basically EMTs without an ambulance. We're the people who can do anything with nothing. And I actually liked that so much I went back to school and became an EMT just this last May. So thank you. I was kind of proud of myself too. I'm actually not the oldest, although my lab partner was 51 years younger than me. But who's counting? Anyway, we also were beginning a Listos program to educate families and provide classes in Spanish and other languages, including American Sign Language. And all of this training is provided for free. If you join CERT, you become a sworn volunteer, then you can get this training for free. You do have to pay for your own uniforms and your transportation and that sort of thing. We're completely volunteer in that respect. But we now have a command trailer, which your dollars helped to purchase an outfit, and that command trailer can be used as an operations center, like you see on TV, you know, those command centers and the base camps, or it can also, it's adaptable. It can be a med tent, so to speak, which we do a lot of. You'll see us at Farm to Fork, Girls on the Run, the International Marathon, that sort of thing, where we are the medical support for that event. But it can also be for firefighter rehab, because firefighters wearing, I forget, it's 60 pounds of gear in 105 degrees, which is when most of our wildfires happen, are required to step out every few minutes and cool down, and they have to cool down on the inside and the outside. And so this command trailer can also be a rehab center. And so I wanted to say that I grew up in the Bible Belt of Missouri, but I guess I can say this here, our bathroom reading was Daily Word, and that's what stuck. And so for me, being part of CERT is, unlike the folks in my hometown, which are very much on what would Jesus do, I'm more interested in what did he do? What did he actually do? Which is get his hands on people, heal them, feed them. And I also like to turn to my other favorite way shower, which is Mr. Rogers, who always said, look for the helpers. And our motto is, actually across the country, is we are the help until help arrives. So if you would like to join us, there is a sign-up sheet out there and you can read about it. The training is 3 weeks on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And there is a spot for everyone regardless of your physical ability. When I first started, I had just gotten out of back surgery and could lift about 5 pounds. I'm a little better than that now, but so there's a spot for everyone, and we invite you, and we would very much like to see you at our next training. So thank you.
So before you,
I think I sold you.
just wanted to offer this support for your organization and what you're doing, and we thank you for your contribution and just helping out folks when they need them the most. So thank you so much for your support.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And remember, there are many ways and many ways to foster transformation in our lives here at Spiritual Life Center. So check out our small group and other offerings. You can always go to our website and see what's going on there. If you're here in person, you can go to the courtyard, look at the bulletin board, and then, of course, talk to the lovely ladies at the hub. And again, anything that you might possibly want to know about SLC is on our website.
Well, we know we come to Spiritual Life Center to make connections with folks who are on the path of growing, developing, unfolding. So we have events like our gala and our classes and our workshops and seminars. But one of the things we can always do is connect with someone right here and right now. So I just invite you to turn to a friend or a potential friend and just in a manner that feels comfortable for you, just say, you are marvelous and glad you are here.
You to stay standing and join us in singing our group song, our Faith in Action song, written by Paula Mandela. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Please join us in singing. Living my life from the inside out, moving toward my dreams, turning it's not what it seems. It's no secret. There's a universal truth. The life that we are living is the life that we choose. And faith is the key to the kingdom of power within me. I see it, believe it, and now I can achieve it. Love moves in me and transforms every fear into courage. I feel it, I know it, and every day I show it. Yes, I will. I'm giving way to the divine flow, attracting all I need. With grateful heart now for this I know, it's there abundantly. It's no miracle, it's very clear to see. God can do nothing for me that isn't done through me. I know that faith is the key to the kingdom of power within me. I see it, believe it, and now I can achieve it. Love moves in me Please be seated.
Perfect song to introduce our annual Faith in Action program. And for those who are not familiar with it, each year we have a 7-week series based upon the book, a book that we read. And we also have each week a theme or a topic, and also artists who present artwork that aligns with the theme of the week. And our first artist is our one and only Louise Bizarre. Yes. the magnificent, talented Louise. And she wrote a statement that goes along with our first week and also talks about her art for this week. Here's what Louise writes. Eric Butterworth gives us an amazing early pearl when he closes the introduction with, "Have many good days in your adventure in truth, and go with the flow." Go with the flow is truly what happened when my first vision of the piece that has been coming through a divine detour. I generally move a piece I am creating from room to room to see it in different light. I gathered the body, stood and topped together, and laid the gilded plaque in the void it was cut from. It carried it into house from my studio and placed it in the living room. I went to get water. When I returned and gazed upon this tall black column, punctuated with red and gold, it communicated to me, I am complete. Black represents mystery, red, the life flowing within, and gold connotes regal importance, which the height of this piece also brings. There was no struggle. This creation was born with omnipresence. The emergence of this piece arrived so easily as I let go and dove into the flow. Omnis, I guess Latin for all, everywhere and nowhere. Louise Bizarre.
And now, as we move into the contemplative portion of our service, let us embody the words of our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet.
And now, in preparation for meditation, we invite you to sing this beautiful chant. Paula, I miss you. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Please join us. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory.
I am. In the light and the love and the glory, I am. Take a nice deep breath and slowly exhale. Relax your shoulders, relax your eyelids, and just in the next cycle of breaths, allow your body to relax. And as you begin to breathe naturally, allow your consciousness to float up and away into a light daydream. You stand in an autumn garden that is in different stages of growth. Some plants are in blossom, some still growing, some yet to be planted. And in your hand, you hold a very special rose seed, one you have waited to plant in this special place. And so pick your spot and gently place the seed into the ground. And say a blessing as you cover it with rich soil and gently water it. Now, under the soil, water and oxygen seep into a tiny hole in the seed coat, activating it, bringing it to life. And soon, a tiny root breaks through the seed coat and burrows into the ground. And with that nourishment, a sprout emerges and begins its way up through the soil, reaching ever upward, seeking the sun, the light of life. And now the sprout breaks through the top of the soil, and then another one, and then another. You continue to nurture and protect your rose vine as it grows. You water it, train it onto a trellis, prevent aphids from taking hold. And tightly wrapped sprouts start to unfold and become beautiful leaves. And then rosebuds emerge. Each flower begins as a tightly fisted little bud, and then slowly it unfolds into the light, blossoming. Reach out and touch one of those rosebuds and give it all of your attention. Bring the bud closer and closer still until you have a bee's eye view. And the bud slowly opens right in your hand, expanding into a lush, full bloom. And it unfolds until it completely fills your vision. Notice the beauty and perfection of your rose. Feel the vine strong and supple. The scent is heavenly. The color a deep, divine red. The petals are velvet between your fingertips. Looking into the center of your rose, you become one with its energy, its color, its essence. And in that oneness, you fully grasp how the rose came to life, breaking out from inside of a seed, making its way up through the soil, up into the world. The rose is the vine's offering of the love that can only come from within. In this vision, living from the inside out takes on new meaning for you. All that you are or ever will be is inside you, waiting to break through that seed cover and grow and manifest in the world. take a moment and ask this question. What gift do I carry within me, and how do I grow it up and into the light of this world? And then listen in the silence. And now release the rose and allow your vision to draw back. And you see not one rose, but an entire garden full of flowers and bees pulsing with life, all growing from the inside out. And take a breath of gratitude and begin to return to your physical world with this blessing. Oh, my beloved, each flower in your garden represents something that you have to offer to the world, a gift that will bloom from within me, within you, your unique way to serve. The answer may come now, or it may take some time, but know that what you carry within you is unique and priceless and as full of life as that rose you hold in your hand. It is real. It is yours. It is within. Remember this always.
I met a prophet, dark as the night. She could see into my soul. She said she'd been watching and had some advice. She sheds shadows and make you whole. A life without pain is a wolf in sheep's clothes. 'Cause if you listen to the lessons that they hold, you'll find the gold. Child, it's time to break the shell. Life's gonna hurt, but it's meant to be felt. You cannot touch the sky from inside yourself. You cannot fly until you break the shell. I can remember when I was a child, how the grown folks seem so crazy. Why are they so angry? Why are they so loud? And when I grow up, that's never ever gonna be me. That was the moment that I decided that I would build a wall just shy of 6 feet tall, too strong to fall. Child, it's time to break the shell. Life's gonna hurt, but it's meant to be felt. You cannot touch the sky from inside yourself. You cannot fly until you break the shell. Courage is not being lost. It's time to peel back
these words what you will. It's time for us to just be real. You will be stuck on the ground until you finally break the shell.
Well, thank you, Ann and Laree. Magnificent as always. You know, Lynn had mentioned that she was from Missouri. I think I shared that I went to ministerial school in Unity Village, Missouri, and I was coming from South Florida. So there was a big adjustment leaving from sunny and warm South Florida and adapting to what at times were brutal winters in Missouri. Now, it wasn't that much of a deal for me to deal with the cold. You know, you just put on layers. You know, it wasn't so much as the snow, you know, because they always would clear the roads pretty well. But there was one thing that terrified me. It wasn't even the tornadoes. I figured I could go into the bathroom and duck. It was driving when they had black ice on the road. And they called it black ice because you couldn't tell there was anything on the road. You know, it looked normal. It could just be a slight mist coming down from the sky, but it would cover itself with this thin layer of ice. And it was treacherous. And I remember I was coming home one day after I was working as a student minister at one of the ministerial programs I was in. And we're coming down a hill, and what would happen is that it would appear all of a sudden, no warning whatsoever. And so I was going down a hill, heading toward home, and I noticed up ahead of me, there were a bunch of cars sliding off the road into the ditch. One car after another, and then we were driving literally 5 miles per hour, trying to make sure that we wouldn't disturb the force that would get us off the road. But there was nothing anybody in front of me could do. I could see them in front of me trying to steer into the skid like they teach you. That never worked at all. They slid off anyway. And so it was a particular point in the road that everyone got to, their cars just slid off. They couldn't do anything. And I was about to approach the road at that particular point. And I saw what everybody else was trying to do, and I said, well, it doesn't seem like any of that they were doing was working. So I said, what am I going to do? So I turned to spirit within, and I asked, what should I do? And somehow, some way, I ended up taking my hand off the steering wheel and not trying to do anything at all. And what happened, my car just kept on going down the hill, helping me get home that day. I don't know how it worked, why it worked, but I don't care. All I know, it did work. But I knew at that moment I had put some faith into letting go and letting flow the presence and the power and the love of God in that particular moment. I let go of that steering wheel. Like I said, that must have been an act of faith, but it wasn't understanding faith. It was blind faith. I had no idea why I did that because I imagined I couldn't do anything. My guess is that, like I said, it didn't make any sense to my surface mind. But anyway, I say that to welcome us to the first week of our Faith in Action program. And the theme, of course, is going with the flow. And it's based upon Eric Butterworth's book, In the Flow of Life. And Eric points out in his first chapter that what he's doing is embarking on an adventure. And what we're doing is embarking on an adventure. And the adventure is our inner world of our mind, the inner world of our spirit. And of course, this is probably the most important journey in consciousness that we can ever take. Because it's an adventure of going of what I call inner space. For a long time, humanity has researched and explored outer space. I remember when I was in elementary school, and we would have they would bring in the little TV, black and white, to show, we're getting ready to send folks up into space, and it was a big deal, when we were learning about these things. And that's a wonderful thing. And it's reaped lots of benefits over the years and lots of revelations. But I think the real research and the real development projects that we need to engage in is to explore the depths of our being so we can release the internal splendor, which is the topic for today. We release that inner splendor by getting in the flow of the universe, getting in the flow of this God presence. And as we pointed out, as we say all the time, this presence is not something that is outside of us. It's right where we are. As the psalmist wrote in Psalm 7, I believe it's something to the effect, whither shall I go from thy spirit? How can I escape the presence of God? If I make my bed in heaven, we know heaven is expanding good, not a place. Spirit is there. If I make my bed in hell, which is a separation from the presence of God, the presence of God is there anyway. So this nature of God, which I call the force, and as Derek Butterworth calls it, he said, if we look at the nature of God, it's like a sphere. Actually a sphere. I'm trying to pronounce that word. And is everywhere, is nowhere, and its center is nowhere. I think I got it backwards. It's sphere. Sphere is everywhere, nowhere, and its center is everywhere. In other words, wherever God is, we are, right now. Thomas Troyd, who was an English author and New Thought teacher and mystic, said, if you want to know the limitless nature of the presence of God, you must understand that you are at the center of it, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do to add to its efficiency. Or to put it another way, we contain all the qualities of this presence. And I believe that our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to catch these qualities in the web of our awareness, of our consciousness, and bring them out as our life. And so that's why I believe that Eric Butterworth starts out in chapter 1, living from within out. Because he said this is not the normal way that people live life, at least those that may be enlightened about the spiritual principles. Because most folks begin to live life from the outside in. And those qualities that we often get from the world that tell us how to live and how to be end up reflecting our outer experiences. But oftentimes those things are just temporary. They're not eternal. They do not last. They do not reflect the qualities of God. And they are constantly changing up on us. And because when we understand that, it's important not to judge ourselves or others because maybe our outer world does not reflect and shape itself around the realization of the nature of God and the unchanging qualities that we are. Years ago, there was a man who had come to me. He had just been released from prison, and he burned down a house. It was his own house. His ex-wife was in it. She got out alive, thank goodness. But apparently he was upset. He was upset because, of a breakup that they had, and he figured the only remedy that he had was to burn down the house with her in it. And so he came and talked to me after he was trying to get his life back together, and every time he would bring it up, he would just be so angry about what happened. He would just turn beet red, and he was darker than I was, just to give you an indication of the level of anger that he was feeling. But after a while, he began to work on his inner thoughts and his inner beliefs and realized that, no matter what had happened to him or around him, the only thing that was important for him was to realize that what happens within him. And that was the most important place for him to focus his attention. And after a while, he got to the point where he began to realize his gifts and his talents. And he became a teacher in the community. And I think he eventually became, teacher of the year many years later. Yes, the anger came and went. But he realized that the power within him was far more powerful than any experience that he was going through. But I think a moment that we need to think about, that he had that moment of clarity. And we would work for him or anyone else not to judge himself unrighteously because the inner at one-ment, which is true nature of God, did not reflect his external world at that particular moment. So our job, I believe, is to release the false notions of life that are blocking the flow of the all good. You know, a few weeks ago, I was trying to pressure clean, the front of my driveway and house, and, I had this pressure cleaner, and it was working pretty good. I was like cleaning, and dirt was like going away, and then all of a sudden, as I was going around, the water stopped coming through. I don't know what happened. I went around and see if it was, got turned off or the hose was somehow, no longer connected, and it looked fine. It was straightened out until I found that it had gotten hooked under one of the tires of my car, and just a little bit of it was enough to get under the tire, so it collapsed the hose. So the water was not coming through anymore. So the flow was not coming through the machine. And I realized that once it got caught into that tire, the flow had stopped. So, of course, I had to release the hose under the tire and stop the blockage of the water. But I say that because it's an analogy to how we sometimes stop the flow in our life. And I think what we have to do is release the false notions that we have about life that block us from being in that flow of God. In the text, Eric Butterworth quotes Emerson that says that we are here to let the divine circuits flow so that we can express ourselves in the unique ways that we're here to express. But in order to do that, we have to unlearn the wisdom of the world. And I've come to understand that getting in the flow and radiating our spiritual nature is not about putting anything in us. Because Eric Butterworth calls that, having the begging bowl system, that we have a bowl that we need to walk around in the world and fill it up in order for us to feel better. But really, it's about purifying our awareness, purifying our consciousness, and releasing the inner splendor that is there all of the time. So this requires us to unlearn. In many respects, I believe we come to places like this or engage in the spiritual path because we're really participating in an institute of higher unlearning. An institute of higher unlearning. We're unlearning, thought forms and points of view and perceptions and things we have learned that thwart our full power from flowing through and as us. And I think as an institute of higher unlearning, we're guided to unlearn lack. We're guided to unlearn limitation and fear and doubt and worry. We're here to unlearn all the ways we're moving through life, trying to protect maybe our little selves, our egoic selves, instead of liberating ourselves so that the power and the presence and the love of God can express through each and every one of us. So I believe that unlearning is one of the most important things to get us in the flow. And it requires that we must be willing to be changed. We transformed by the renewing of our minds. And I think we have to really want to do this. Because, I believe this teaching is not for the faint of heart. Sometimes we can go to places and they'll tell you, there's something outside of you that's responsible. The devil made me do it, as one of the comedians used to say years ago. But we are responsible for our lives. And we must realize that the pain of transformation is equal to our resistance to life, our resistance to getting into the flow. So we have to unlearn and be willing to be changed by the speaking of our word, through our affirmations. We're here to be touched by this spiritual presence. And being touched means that we have to be different. We have to be changed. And we're not going to be the same person before the unlearning takes place. There's so many people who want to change the world and remain the same. That's impossible. Sometimes they want to change their relationships and they will remain the same. Impossible. Some people want to change the society while they remain the same. Impossible. We must be willing to be transformed by the renewing of our minds and heart. Yes, I believe this Institute of Higher Unlearning is a concept that we should engage in. And I think one of the things that we want to unlearn and release the inner splendor within us is release this idea of unworthiness. Because I believe such a belief blocks the flow of good that is seeking to be expressed through us. I had a friend who seemed to have everything in the world in the palm of her hand. She was an up-and-coming actress and model, and, she had that it factor. You can understand why she had this vision I saw that vision where she could just be absolutely successful on an international level because she had that kind of skill. She had it in spades. And I knew that she was going to head for international stardom. I just knew that. But interestingly and shockingly, she did not see herself that way. She thought she was not good enough. She thought she was not worthy enough. And it was hard for anyone to believe that who was around her and saw her and observed her skill set. Anyway, to make a long story short, she got caught up in a lot of self-destructive behavior and repelled and sabotaged every great opportunity that came to her. The universe was rushing to her to bring her all the good, but she was blocking the flow. And I believe to unblock the flow of our good is a matter of getting out of our own way, seeing ourselves rightly as the magnificent expressions of God so the divine circuits can in fact flow to us, through us, and the good can come as us. But here's the thing. The universe is a living intelligence that matches our mental state. That mental state that shows up as our experience. So if we think we're unworthy, it just mirrors that belief right back to us. And the good that is meant for us, the good that is meant to come to us, that good is for us is being blocked by us. So we must unlearn any beliefs that we're born unworthy or born sinners, because we are born not in original sin, we're born in original blessings, as Matthew Fox would talk about. We're here to be channels and expressions of the all good of God. So we must unlearn and release any belief in unworthiness. Because if we hold on to that, we block the flow of good. But I think there's a second belief that we have to unlearn, the belief that we have to make it happen. Yes, we do our work. I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. But as I also mentioned that when I was at Unity Village, we used to have our service of prayer, and they start out that it's not I, but the Christ within that does the work. It's not I, but the Spirit within that does the work. And Butterworth notes in his text that you do not need to make the demonstration happen. You do not need to make the manifestation take place, because we don't make it happen to create the flow, because it's always in flow. It's just that we have to do whatever we need to do to get out of the way for the flow to come through. It's like gravity. We don't have to go outside and say, let me go out here and make gravity work. Trust me, it was working. If you go in this building and jump off, you can't stop it. It's going to work. It's always happening. The flow is always there. But we've just gotten out of our awareness of this flow. And I believe that all the work that we do, the prayer, the meditations, the affirmations, the visualizations, the forgiveness work, is to get us back in alignment with what is already there. So our role is to stop doing whatever is hindering the natural flow of the good that is coming from within us, and to turn our attentions away from tension, turn our attention away from strain, and let go and let life flow. You know, years ago, I remember this incident. I was in a kitchen in this building. It was built maybe 50 or 60 years ago, so it was old kitchen, but, they left open the doors, and they had these really high ceilings, and it must have been 15, 20 feet. I don't know how high it was. But somehow or another, a bird flew into the kitchen. And instead of flying right out the door to get back out, it decided to try to make its way through a closed window. And so the bird would come up, and be up at the ceiling, and it would fly into the window, like full speed, and bang its head against the window. And I said, I think that's not working. And it would come back again, and it would come back, and it would fly into the window. And of course, me, I said, no, you don't have to do that. So I'm trying to shoot a bird, trying to point him in the direction of where the door is so he could just fly right on out. It kept doing that until it just ran into the window and actually broke the window and went through the other side. I guess it was one of those thin glass things. I don't think that was going with the flow. And man, sometimes we try to be in life to try to go against the flow, against the grain, against the tide. I think the key to go with the flow is to allow that which is happening everywhere to happen through and as us with ease and grace. And realize that the doors are always open and they're there all of the time. I think this is why we fellowship and worship and study and practice these principles, so that which is springing up all over will spring up through and as us. I think this chapter is reminding us that God is. Isness is. Flow is. When we can't do them, we can't make them happen, but we can eliminate the hindrances from the isness of God flowing through and as us. And I think when we do that, we discover, oh, I have not accomplished much on my own. It looks to the world like I have, but all I have done is eliminated and unlearned the false perceptions of life and allowed the song of the universe to be God as me, love to be love as me, peace to be peace as me. So I would say that during this 7-week series, we're looking at strategies that we can employ to activate this power, to get into flow and release that internal splendor. Because all we're doing is not making it happen. We're creating the conditions that eliminate any of the blockages of the flow so the results become inevitable. We don't make it happen. Even positive thinking and affirmations, they don't make anything happen. When we do that, when we think positive, when we begin to affirm, all we're doing is get in alignment with what is already going on and get in alignment with what is true. And when we get in alignment with what is true, life flows with ease and grace. As they said in that scriptural reference, consider the lilies of the field, how they spin nor toil out. But even all of Solomon never were supported like this when we are supported by the Spirit of God. So I think getting in the flow is to realize that the doors are wide open, that God has not moved. Sometimes we've moved from God. We're just getting back in alignment with the flow through the work that we do. And at that moment of alignment, any history that we have of that moment is dissolved. It's wrapped up. It's gone. When we're in alignment, we behold that we make all things new, because something is being activated within us that is right with the presence. So during this faith in action, know that we are on an adventure. In fact, some of the communities call it adventures in faith, because we're on a great adventure in life. Individuals on an adventure are entirely different of looking at the world than people who are afraid of loss or lack or limitation, because they're placing their attention on not enough resources. They're living on a world from outside within. But as Eric Butterworth tells us, that true life starts from within out. So we may not have objectively enough at any given moment. But on an adventure, there's an expanded awareness to that which we cannot see. And we know it's going to be good. We just don't know exactly how it's going to show up, but we humble with the faith that it will show up. Because when on an adventure, we don't define ourselves by our resources. We don't define ourselves by visible circumstances that seem to hold us captive. We define ourselves by an inner attitude. We define ourselves by the internal splendor that's waiting to come forth. And we simply say, I'm on an adventure. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I know it's going to be good because the presence of God is good all of the time. We just have to get plugged in. It's like the story of the unplugged toaster. I don't know if you know the story of the unplugged toaster. Well, if you don't, I'm going to tell you about it. The unplugged toaster is complaining. I can't cook any toast. I've been unplugged for so long. It's going to take about maybe 4 years of therapy for me to come to an understanding as to why I can't cook toast anymore. It happened to me one day. I'm going to tell you the day and the time that it happened. Some guy came over and tripped over the cord. He was a big guy. He messed up my life forever. Now I'm stuck. I got issues with him now. Now I hate him. But the moment that toaster is plugged in, electricity begins to flow. That bread begins to toast. And in that instant, there is alignment. This is alignment with the source. It's alignment with the power. It's alignment with the presence. It's alignment with the love of God. It carries with it all the good of God. And we do this with absolute gratitude in our life, which we consider one of the healthy qualities to have. Because as Eric Butler points out, Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese Taoist, knows everything healthy flows with this grand, magnificent universe. So all day long, we look for things to be grateful for. We look for the good. We affirm the truth. We think the good. Not to make anything happen, but to simply make it welcome. And when we do, we become in the flow of life. Peace and blessings to you. Well, each week we have an affirmation that we can take with us to internalize some of the ideas in the chapter that we're reading for each week. And it's on our screen now, so I invite you to join in as we affirm it together. Spirit streams into me. My internal splendor blossoms and shines for the world to see. I am in the flow of life. Take those words with you throughout the week, and next week we're going to continue on with week 2 with In the Flow of Life, and we're going to talk about the healing stream of your super wisdom that we all have. So Paul's going to do the meditation, and Dahlia is going to do the singing along with Lurie and Soul Light Connection. So be there or be square, as they like to say. If you'd like some prayer immediately after the service, our chaplain is available to pray with you. And if you have a challenge you're going through, they'll help you see it from a higher point of view. Or if you have something you just want to celebrate, you don't have to wait until you have a problem to pray. You can celebrate something good and just make it better in your life. So they're available, and they have a white stoles, and you can find them if they're wearing one of the white stoles. They'll pray with you. And if anyone is here for the first time, particularly online, if you want to stay in contact with us, you can fill out one of the welcome cards online. Or anyone's here, you can also do that. But if there's anyone here for the very first time today, we want to give you a welcome card. You can fill out. Any first-timers here this morning? Yes, keep your hand up right there. Thank you so much for your presence. We appreciate you. And there's a card that we're giving you. If you'd like to fill that out and leave it at the welcome table, we'll keep you informed as to what's taking place at Spiritual Life Center. And there's a purple ribbon, I believe, that you also have, that if you wear that, you get a special Spiritual Life Center greeting and just a little bulletin that gives you some ideas about who we are and what we're about. So we thank you. We affirm the magnificence that you are, and we see you doing great things in your growth, development, and unfoldment. At this time, for those who are online would like to support Spiritual Life Center with their gifts, we invite you to simply text SLC Love to 44321. Text SLC Love to 44321. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, click the Donate tab, and it'll give you other ways to give, including sending a check by mail. And we invite you, if you are watching us, just to like us and subscribe and comment, share with other people, because the more that we do that, the more folks are open to receiving this message that could make a difference in their life, in their community, and who knows, beyond that. So we thank you for your support. And for those who are here today would like to give to Spiritual Life Center, we give with an absolute gratitude and appreciation, whether you're giving today or have given already automatically, knowing that we're in the flow of something magnificent. And just let your heart dance, because whatever you give out, we know comes back to us in ways that we never imagined. And as I mentioned, when I used to be in Africa, going to the Spiritual Life, going to unity centers down there, when they gave, they didn't just put the money in the basket. They would dance down the aisles, because it was just a magnificent thing. To them, that was the most important part of the service. So we're at the most important part of the service right now. We have an opportunity to bless the flow coming in. So with that, let's affirm our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
What if you knew that you were beautiful? What if your smile was wild and free? What if you knew that you could take your time and everything would turn out fine? What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be. What if every step of the journey was just as sweet as the final prize? What if you lost the map but you found the key? What if your life was so much fun you didn't need to try and get it all done? What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be. So give it a season without a doubt. Give it a reason to all work out. Give it a chance, give it some time, give it your best. Give it a rest. What if the great big picture already dawned on everybody bright and clear? What if you give yourself a break and let our differences be? If we could just sit still a minute, enjoy the human race and not have to win it. What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be. What a wonderful, wonderful world this could just as sweet as a final prize. What if we lost the map but we found the key? If we could just try to get it all done, then we would see what a wonderful, wonderful world. What a wonderful, wonderful could be. What a wonderful way. What a wonderful world this could be.
Well, we'll just affirm that it's a wonderful world right here and now, because we are in it and we can be the expressions of the quality of the Spirit of God. And we take this time to bless those who have blessed us with their gifts and offerings, knowing He's going to bless not only this community to provide a place for those who are looking to grow, develop, and unfold spiritually, to fellowship with others on the path, but also it has given an opportunity for us to make a difference in our world and support other organizations that are doing things to uplift humanity in some way, shape, or form. So we bless those who have blessed us. We bless those who have left their prayers in the prayer box. For we're reminded that all of us have challenges along the way in this thing called life. But there comes a moment when we know we can release and let go and get into the flow of divine spirit and rest assured that all indeed is well. And no matter what we're going through or growing through, that there's a power within each and every one of us that's far more potent than any experience that we're going through in life. It is that presence of God that is supporting us and uplifting us and carrying us through, and is the wind beneath our wings in times of trouble. So we are grateful and thankful that this presence is with us always. It cannot leave us or forsake us, and is giving us nothing but divine and perfect love each and every day. We accept it, we're grateful for it as we go forth in our own way, spreading this energy and anchoring a little bit more of good and heaven in our life and in our world. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And with that, let's affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. I am, and all is well. Let's sing our peace song. Peace and blessings. Hang around for some postlude music, some end music. And remember to go with the flow.